Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Steve Carver. I'm in Dunn, North Carolina, and welcome to our class tonight. We're sponsored in our program by the Small Business Center at Lenore Community College at Kinston. Lee Albritton is our director, and a great director he is. And if you're in the Kinston, Lenore County, Greene County area, please give Lee a call. He'd love to help you with your business. Not taking advantage of his offer is crazy because they've got a lot of resources and will do everything he can to help you move your business forward. It's free, it's professional, and it's confidential. Lee let me know last week that he has a brand new office area now. He's located in the Lenore County Chamber of Commerce building on Queen Street downtown. That's on Main Street downtown. 301 Queen Street is where the Small Business Center office is. So it's a lot more convenient to you downtown than having to drive out to the airport. So please welcome everybody to come and see him, set up an appointment, and do work. And also give him a call or email and let him know what's going on and how he can help you. Our title tonight is What's My Business Worth? And so we're going to be talking about the basics of appraising a small business. And it's all tied into why are we talking about that in this series of lessons? Because this series of lessons is how to plan, starting now, for you to have a successful succession in your business when you decide to sell it or pass it on to someone else, or transition from one ownership or leadership role to another, or maybe merge, or maybe just exit the business and close it down. To do any of these things, one of the first questions that's going to come up, well, what's my business worth? What's my negotiation point? So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Again, I'm Steve Carver. I'm in Dunn, North Carolina. This is my presentation number 1270, and it's my pleasure to serve you and look forward to working with you. I'm not a lawyer or CPA, but I am a fellow that's been in business for 68 years and counting. Still love doing business, plan to do it as long as I possibly can. I've done retail work, .com companies, government contracting, farm equipment, leasing and rentals. Got a lot of experience under this old belt, and I'm glad to share experiences and tips that I've learned through the years. And I've made millions of mistakes, so hopefully I'm not going to make those again and help you avoid making those type of errors. First advice I got for you is always get a second or a third opinion from someone that's knowledgeable and got your best interest in mind before you jump off into the deep water and take a chance on hurting yourself. There's plenty of people out here that'll help you. I will do all I can to help you or point you in the right direction. We work on a confidential basis, so that's all I can do is offer my services and give you what I can online, and there's no charge for any information that I send to you or help that I give to you. I am keeping up with attendance as y'all attend, because if you attend 4 of our 5 lessons, you'll qualify for graduation and certificates, academy membership, and achievement and completion certificates. And so we do keep up with attendance so that we can do that. And I certainly look forward to it. We've got a lot of people that are back with us tonight working on a perfect attendance record, and thank you so much. Let me mention to you that if you do come on board and you have to leave the class to go take care of some supper or a child or do something else, stay logged in. The time that you stay logged in on the class is important, even if you're not just sitting there. The time is important, and it keeps you from having to go back and forth and log in, log out. It's better just to stay logged in throughout the class, even if you have to get up and leave the room for a while. So you attend 4 classes, you automatically get your certificate of achievement. And so there's room for many of you to do that. And if you attend all the classes and pre-register for them, you can qualify for advancement in academy membership and also do some homework assignments. If you are a regular attendee of our classes and you have already done your profit centers menu and your mission, vision, and promise statements, you don't have to do those again. Just send me the copies of your updated profit center menus and also your updated mission, vision, and promise statement. send that to me, and I'll keep a record of it to qualify you for Academy advancement. That'd be great. So this is an advanced class tonight. This course about transition in your business goes much deeper into the processes of how to get your business set up and ready to transition out of it. So we call this an advanced course instead of just a regular core topics. And let me promise to you that if and when you're able to have a smooth succession in your business, it's going to happen because you planned it. These things just don't happen by themselves. And the good and the bad message is that at some point in time, tomorrow or 60 years from now, you will be ready to transition out of your business. It might be a really good situation where that you have had a great business life and you're just ready to retire. So you're interested in either selling or transitioning or moving out of the business situation one way or the other in a very positive note. Or it can be like the good, bad, and the ugly. It could be that you're forced into selling your business or closing your business due to economic downturns, some bad mistakes, some bad situations, bad luck can do it, health issues, divorce issues, children issues, a lot of reasons that put people out of business. And when that happens to anyone, it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And my purpose in doing this program tonight with you is to hopefully when that comes your way, you'll look back and say, well, I had some heads up warnings from old Steve-O. We had that thing, and he gave me some tips to help me get my business in a position so that when it is time that I need to move on, that I'm ready to do it, and it's been a lot better off for me. You've been sent, if you're on our mailing list, you've been sent study guides related to the subject matters tonight. And I did some more emailing this afternoon to you, and I'll send you copies of those study guides in addition. I suggest that you start a file on your laptop or your desktop computer where you save all these study guides that I send to you through these courses. At some point in time, maybe once a month or maybe once every 2 months, you'll be able to go back to that file and pull up a topic matter from those that will probably help you remember what we talked about, or at least you know a place to know how to ask the right questions. So I'm glad to share these with you. These represent years and years of work and improvements. So they can be very valuable to you in the future. And again, there's no charge at all for them. I'm glad to share them with you. So this afternoon, I sent emails out. You may have had a chance to look at it here before or not. So let me just take a minute and open it up tonight and welcoming everyone and just going through basically what I said in the emails to you. There's a real uncomfortable truth that we just need to recognize. And that is that most folks like you and I, the founders of our businesses, we love doing business. But as we build our business, we completely fail. I mean, just completely fail to build a business that someone else can and will buy. And that is an error that we don't have to make. And I've been able to sell my businesses at least 3 times and help other people sell them. But a lot of times when I'm trying to help someone else sell their small business, they put it together in such a way that it's just not practical. It's just not going to happen. What we do is confuse building our business as a job for us versus building our business as an asset. And it's a major difference. If you're building a business for a job for you, that means you can't sell it to someone else because nobody else can do the job like you do. But if you're building the business as an asset, and you've got that structure in your finances and the way you put it together and the way it operates, then you have a remarkable good chance of being able to sell or transition out of your business. So your goal is, if your goal is to pass on your company to your kids or sell it for private equity in 4 or 5 years or longer, or just understand how the banks will look at your business and its financial health, you need to understand the mechanics of how valuation of a business works. Because evaluation is the ultimate scorecard of how healthy your company is. So you want it to be healthy, you want it to succeed and move forward. So it's really important that you pull into this. So I'm talking directly to Dr. Mary and Kia and Kelly and Chessa. All of y'all are working so hard, and Shannon have such great dreams, and David, that you're building a business that's going to do really well for you and your family and security. And I want to put in another plug on that while we're building this business. You're building a business that someday, after you've enjoyed the benefits of it, that you'll be able to sell it or transition out of it and let the legacy live on. Your legacy and the business legacy are two different things. They're tied together. But let's really try to make your business be able to live on and monetize it for other people. But the health of your business is important to investors. How much money you have a chance to walk away with it after you exit, and how stable is the business itself to be able to make it for years and years. Now, I emailed to you 12 questions just to give you kind of an oversight and good information. First of all, I sent you the different types of valuations that professionals do when they're coming up with the value of a business. There's 4 or 5 different types. All of them are important. You may see all of them in different types of situations for businesses, but mainly these are things that professional brokers use to justify or to satisfy the needs of the seller and the buyer. These different methods have been developed for many, many years by people that are buying and selling businesses on a professional basis. And then I went on and I sent to you 12 questions that are related to the subject. So after you do the reading, I'd like for you to go through your quiz and read these and think about what we're talking about tonight. And tomorrow I'll send you the quiz with the answers in them so you can review what we've talked about. Now, the brokers, professional brokers that buy and sell businesses, and these are mainly businesses that have been established and have some significant values, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars and more. These brokers are professionals who get paid commissions on how high the price is. The higher the price, the more money they make. And to justify the big dollars that they charge, some as high as 20 and 30% of the gross sale price, it adds up to huge dollars. These brokers have figured out ways to make themselves extra important to folks, different ways to justify the big charges they have, and to pretty much, excuse the French here, but this is my personal opinion, I sense that brokers that I've worked with before, while they might be nice guys, they are into the mood of making things so darn complicated that the average founder of a business says, I don't understand all this. It's just too darn complicated. Just give me the numbers and tell me this, and then we accept it at face value. I don't like that, but that's the way it is. And one of the first things they'll throw at you is they'll say, well, how am I going to evaluate your business? I don't be doing the EBITDA. Throw that at you right to begin with, having no idea what all those letters stand for. So I gave this to you up front in advance, that if you have a significantly large business and you're planning on working with a broker, this is the first type of evaluation that they're going to come to you in. Tonight, I want to say to you, the best evaluation method that is used is the one that is specifically meets the needs and the reason for your business, not for the rest of the world and all these other sophisticated and long-winded type evaluations that the brokers use. Sometimes there's a combination of factors that you will put together to keep it simple, to keep it understandable, because the the buyer has to understand and the seller has to feel good about it. And at some point in time, it has to be a win-win situation for both sides, without the broker having to justify everything, every line item on their report. Because right now, I'm saying to you that these reports, these broker presentations are built to create lots of revenue for the broker, which means those people selling the business are paying a big price. Just to move out of the transition. Our goal here tonight is to make everything all about you. And the lessons that I want to teach you are, we don't keep it simple, because now that you're building your business, I want you to be able to have in mind what is the foundation factors that build value in your business. So we're not going to talk about the $1 million operations and the big sophisticated broker bills getting 25 and 30% or 12% of your life's work just for putting together some evaluations. There's other ways to go about it. So this is giving you an idea to start the process yourself. What is the meaning? How does your valuation of your business come together? So the broker is interested in the dollars and cents. What is the actual money? Bottom line, it's all about the almighty dollar. But you and the potential buyer, because you may be the one that's buying someone else's business to merge with yours or to grow it or just to get started. When you're in the real life situation of buying and selling a small business and you're the founders, then some other things are a whole lot more important than just the nickels and dimes, the bottom line cash value of the business. It's always going to be important. But you've got to get to the point to make your business attractive to a buyer. So the things that make a difference there is how does your daily life go? What's life like in your business day to day? Is it a rat race? Is it demanding? Is it just a hell on wheels? Or is it a pleasant thing that someone else might want to take on and enjoy the benefits? In my businesses through the years and even today, it's about the personal relationships and the daily operations. I enjoy it. I love it. And I can teach other people to do it, and other people can do it for me, but I don't have to train them and teach them out about the small, intricate parts that make this business work compared to others, because every one of our businesses is different. Personal relationships, our knowledge, and how we run our daily operations. What's the basis for decisions we're making? How are we handling our paperwork? Who are the team of people that we rely on to help us keep the business going? Do I have a plan that's growing the business? Is it moving forward with technology and such as that? What's the status of our business? Now let's look at the finances. Do I have good repeat customers? Do I have raving fan customers that are continually helping me be sustainable with good cash flow? Are my operations efficient? Do I have a lot of waste that I can cut out? What positions am I placing for the future? And pretty much, do I keep good records? So if all these things are coming up in a positive note, then indeed, maybe I've got a business I can sell to someone else and they're looking forward to buying it from me. Or I have a relative that's looking forward to coming in, learning, and taking it over. But if any of this falls apart, when things start falling apart, we get to that point that 80% of people are unable to sell their business to someone else. Any of these factors that fall apart, the business will not sell, and therefore it's just lost. All these years of work, all these investments, all this customer base you put together has the chance of just going away and dissolving, and you never see any benefit for it. Your family never sees any benefit for your lifelong work that they could, other than what you've been able to bring in. So indeed, at the end of the day, if you're not able to sell it and no one else is interested in taking it over, basically what you did was you created a job for yourself. And what we will aim for tonight, our goal is for us to figure out ways that we create a job and an asset that is transferable an asset that might be able to be sold. That's why we're here. So take your notes, and I'll be ready to ask questions when you want to. That's where we're at. It starts with the mindset. If a lot of people say, well, I know what my business is worth. It brings in this amount of money, therefore that's the value of my business. And a buyer will pay for my hard work because they can see that I've made good money for a lot of years. Therefore, they'll pay me for the business. But not. That makes sense. That makes logic. And every small business owner that I've talked to through the years that was asking me to sell their business, this was the attitude they have. It was the street smart. Hey, I've got a business that's making money, so somebody else will want to buy it so they can make money with it. Not. People don't want to buy a job. There are a few exceptions out there, and if you can find them, hallelujah, good luck to you. I was able to find someone kind of close to that, but we've improved that a lot. But you can't have this mindset and continue making it work. The buyers will not just pay you for your previous hard work. It just didn't work. So what are the factors that bring value into the small business appraisal and valuation from the standpoint of buying and selling a small business by a founder? And it's not all about the revenue. That's a key point that we're going to make. The brokers in those letters I sent to you, those evaluations, man, they count the beans. They plead their case, but that is not where we're at tonight when we're talking about setting up your business to be good for successions. So we want it to do more than make money. We want the business to do more than make money. What we want is it to run efficiently and show some strong profit margins. And we want it to do that without you having to do all the work. The new buyer wants a business that runs efficiently and has a chance to make good money, then he can hire someone or she can hire someone to make that happen. So what is the quickest way to increase your business value before you sell? Man, we're talking right to the nitty-gritty now. So what can we be doing now to do that? So increase our recurring revenues. Remember when we said that our profit centers, our marketable profit centers, type number two is to have profit centers that create repeat business, good margins, target impulse buyers. In other words, we're doing things that really build a lot of repeat business. That is super important because a new buyer comes in, they know they got regular customers that they don't do business with. The last time I sold my business last year, I was able to say to them, yeah, I'm doing almost all the work, but I've got 4,500 customers that are continually doing business with us, and I can show you how that works and show you how to do the quotations, and you can hire me or someone else to do that for you. Reoccurring revenues is a key factor. You don't want to have a bunch of unnecessary expenses. So if you're looking at selling your business and they're looking at those financial statements, you want to weed out and do away with all the things that maybe you've been perking the business with. You want to streamline it down so that your financial statement is showing that you're operating lean and mean, lean and efficient. That's really important. And sometimes it takes you several years to weed out the little extra stuff that you'll spend that really someone else may not. Now, the financial reporting gets back to what we're just saying there. Well, you want a bookkeeping system and financial statements that indicate the real cost and the real monies that you're spending, so that you don't have to expand or glorify certain line items. You just want them clean and easy to understand and documented. That takes some time to build that financial statement. And sometimes it takes talking with someone to help you do that, because if you hadn't ever done it, it's hard to know what to do. And that's where, listen to me now, you don't need to be calling a broker to help sell your business doing this. Won't charge you a ton of money. You call a business coach, someone like me or other folks that can, or a good bookkeeper that's actually been in business himself, to help you point out the areas that are weak, cause a weak presentation to a potential buyer or a lender, no doubt. So making these changes right now, we're starting to make these changes. Everything we're talking about is a process. It takes some time. But making these changes will go a long way to putting your business financials in a position to encourage other potential buyers to think more favorably about this. Now, we're fortunate tonight to have with us a long-term professional CPA, Johnson Sheffield from Warsaw. And Johnson, I hope you don't mind. I don't ask you for some comments from time to time because we're just honored to have your presence with us. If you've been able to pay attention to what I've been saying, what do you think about these quick ways that every business owner might consider improving their financial reports to be attractive to a buyer?
I think those are spot on. Just about that simple.
Yeah, and normally your CPAs and a real experienced bookkeepers would be able to give good advice about this. Is that right?
I had a hesitation when you said an experienced bookkeeper, because the definition of an experienced bookkeeper is really hard to correct.
Well, I can appreciate that. But so maybe I need to rephrase that. We need to have someone look over your shoulders that has some insight into what buyers are looking for when they're considering buying a small company.
Well, that's probably a better suggestion in my opinion.
Very good. Well, as you're here, when you can, you're welcome to break in with any advice that you'd like to share with our class. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So there's some questions that every time that the buyer and the seller sit down together, there's some questions that the answers just have to be made. So if you're thinking about buying a small company, or you're thinking about selling your company, or being ready to buy or sell a company someday, I want you to know that these questions are the ones that need to come along. What assets will go with the company, and what assets will the seller keep? So sometimes the seller, let's say the seller the company owns a really nice pickup truck, and I want to sell my business, be glad to sell your business to you, but I want to keep the pickup truck. Well, that needs to be thought about and considered so that nobody's getting surprises out of left field. The buyer doesn't need to hear this on the last day of negotiations. There's some things that you can just lay out up front and be open and honest about it, and it will make things move smoothly. If the buyer's holding back stuff and plans to surprise the seller later on, or keeping too much stuff, kind of saving it back as hidden bargaining chips, that's going to end up with some problems. You want to know the difference in the book value and the fair market value of the business. Really important. We talk about the fair market values in a lot of our classes and need to do that. What assets go with a company? Are there any key contracts? Is there any work in progress that the buyer may hope to get? Lots of times people that are selling the business will say, well, I've got all this business and all these customers and will continue to do business with you. Not. A buyer doesn't know if these customers are going to come on board or not, just right by themselves. Or do you have a contingency plan where you're going to help introduce the new buyer to the established customers? And are you going to stay on board with them and help that transition happen? That's a right big deal to consider it. Are we selling assets or stock? If you're selling stock, that means you're buying the corporation and the assets that it holds. Or are you going to sell the assets and you keep the corporation alive for whatever reasons you want to? But the fact of the matter is very few small businesses being sold by owners or being purchased by single operators, very few of them are interested in buying the corporation. Because when you buy the corporation, you buy its history. You own its history. You own its contingent liabilities, promises it's made, or or warranties as it's put in place. And very few people need to pay extra money to buy problems down the road. There are some reasons people would do that. Tax situations, size of the companies, buying certain number of stockholders, buying stock from some of the stockholders, getting a controlling interest. But usually in small businesses, you're interested in buying the assets, and that makes it a whole lot simpler when you're putting together the proposal and putting a value on it. Always a big question is, how much money are you going to get at closing? What's the cash? What are you going to be able to put in your hand or in your bank account and feel it? Most everybody like to say, I want to sell it for cash and I want to get this amount of money for it. So I'm going to tell you right now, when you're selling a small business, if you end up getting your asking price, there's a good chance you had to finance part of the deal. So know that as a fact. And as you're establishing that asking price, if you have no intention of doing any owner financing, you need to make sure that you leave yourself some negotiating room and actually end up with what you feel like you've got to have, because many times that is the factor that helps the buyer get into the deal if you offer to do some financing on it. And there's some good tips that we can talk about as we go. So is this going to be a cash sale or an installment sale? Or people don't move into the business and earn their way into making payments as they go along in a various number of different ways? And will the seller remain involved in the company, either as an advisor, a consultant, an employee working for hire? Is there a non-compete situation? These are the most important questions that going into the deal, going into the thinking process that you need to know are going to come up, and there's no hiding from them. Every one of these is an absolute fact. So know that whether you're buying or selling, you can take this list of questions and start putting together your thinking process of moving forward. So look at your study guides and learn what book value is. We talk about that in our core classes. Book value is the prices that you paid for assets as you bought them and how they have depreciated over the years and the value has gone down. So you need to be very much aware of book value, and in your study guides we get into that. Fair market value has everything to do with how much the business is worth on the open market to a qualified buyer. It's a legal definition. And this is where the appraisers come in. And I can tell you that when you're appraising a small business, the fair market value is really hard to find, because the fair market value depends on who the buyer is and what their anticipations are and what they're planning on doing with this company. So fair market value here in selling or putting an evaluation on a small company can really vary way up or way down. And there's not much you can do about it, because every deal is different, because the buyers and the sellers, their personalities become involved and their hopes and dreams become involved. Real hard to pin it down. But I want you to know the difference in the two, and there is a major difference in the two. Think about small businesses' book value and fair market value as two different ways of looking at its worth. The book value is like looking at a business's scrapbook. What are the accounting records and what are the balance sheets? Is dollars and cents and pennies. We're counting beans. The fair market value is whatever those beans are. Different buyers will look at it a different way depending on what their anticipation is and what are the other forces in effect that they have to meet before closing the deal. So fair market values may really change a lot, while the book values is going to be an accounting bookkeeping matter that it'll come up with an exact figure on book value, but not fair market value, not the selling price value. So what are the first 10 steps for your do-it-yourself small business to start your appraisal and planning guide? Now, in the study guides that I've emailed to you, you can take those and apply them to your businesses, change them up to make suit your needs. But performing a evaluation yourself can give you a great understanding of kind of sort of what your business is going to be worth, and then you can go to your next step to seek professional help if you want it. First of all, let's determine the purpose. Why are you here, and why are you doing this evaluation? Is it just for your own personal knowledge, or are you serious about getting ready to sell, or you know, borrow some money on the property? Maybe you're doing some estate planning. Maybe you're writing your will for the first time. You just don't know how to approach your business situation. I've been called on oftentimes for this. I have friends or colleagues that are getting aged now, and they're ready to write some wills, and they just don't know how to deal with the business, you know, as they're writing their last will and testament. And that requires some conversation with someone that's got an understanding mind and kind of can see both sides of the fence, because it can go a lot of different ways as you're doing that. As you get in the process, just start keeping notes. Get you a notebook, call it your evaluation notebook. Take your time with it. Just get started is the main thing. Putting together your financial data, historical records, sales records, profit and loss statements. Whenever you get ready to sell the business, a potential buyer is going to want to look back for 3 to 5 years, no less than 3 to 5 years. So you can see right now that if you start now cooking, doctoring up, preparing your financial statements to be more attractive to a potential buyer or lender, because the buyer may be taking these records right straight to the lender, so the banker that's going to loan them the money to buy your company, they're going to see them too. So these records are really important, that you have them real easy to understand, and that you're able to explain them without any trouble. This gets back to where we've been talking about in our Monday night sessions, and the core topics about doing your business model and your budgeting. This is a place I want to say to you that as you do your business model and your business plan and your budgeting, and you'll have those documents, you'll be able to take those different models for expenses and income, and you put them in your chart of accounts as you're doing your bookkeeping, so that the accounts, the chart of accounts match right up. You name them the same thing, or even give them the same numbers in your budget and in your business plan as you use in your bookkeeping software. And man, let me tell you, that makes everything work so much better when you're trying to explain your financial sheets to a potential buyer. So then you want to think about, how is these organized? A good organization, a notebook with folders filed up properly so they can look at one year to the other and do year comparisons. Have a lot of those year-to-date comparisons go a long way. And in today's bookkeeping systems, year-to-date comparisons are very easy to do. The software does it for you. And then there's going to be a page where you list down your assets, your tangible assets. What does the company own? What's going to be included in the sale? And those are going to be listed down. And let me tell you, you keep it real simple, you keep it real plain, and these assets are going to be listed on your depreciation sheet. So you're not going to have to do a lot of extra work to come up with a sheet and put values on it, because your depreciation sheet are going to list your assets, and they're going to list the book values. And there's nothing wrong at all with you taking that depreciation sheet with the current book values, and right out to the side of it, you go ahead and start penciling in what you think the fair market value of those items will be. And now you're starting to build a really good working copy, working sheets, working papers to help you come up with a final evaluation. You want to consider the intangible assets. Now, this gets tricky. And this is where someone that's had experience buying and selling companies can help you, because there are some things that aren't on that depreciation sheet that indeed may affect the value of your business from the buyer standpoint big time, and indeed may affect the amount of money you end up with, a huge factor. And those things are the non-tangible assets. On your depreciation sheet, you're talking about tangible things that you can touch and do, things that you bought and sold. But things like brand reputation, customer loyalty, your intellectual properties that you put together, patents or trademarks, and maybe the quality of your team, your key personnel that are with the company now. And see, this is so important that you list down everything that's good about your company, and then figure out how we can put a monetary value on it. When I sold my company most recent sale, it was a .com company. I was selling, not everything was intangible. No equipment, no inventory. Yeah, it was intangible. It was a website. It was a customer base. It was 56 years of goodwill. It was a whole string of suppliers and vendors and raving fan customers, all of which we had put together in a package that the buyer felt really good that he would be able, if he bought the company, he and his family, they would inherit all these intangible things, and they would be real to them just like they were real to me. Now, it took a couple of years to make all that happen, but it did, and it was not that difficult to do. It's just a lot of work to do. So as you're building your company now and you're seeing these intangibles that are important to your company, and they're going to be important to you right now, recognizing your repeat customers and your reputation and protecting that. David asked me earlier before we got started, what do you do if you get bad rapport on some reviews online? What do you do about that? Well, that's important, because if a buyer is coming to consider buying your business, now let me tell you, I'm going to say to you, they're going to go to Google and they're going to check out every review they can find from every customer that's ever talked about you. So it's really important that you cover those bases. And that's one reason at the websites, I always say to you, make sure you got a lot of reviews, you got a lot of testimonials on your website that are posted, because the buyers will see those first. The first place they're going to look is at your website, the quality of it, how it looks. And they'll see those testimonials. And every time they see a good testimonial where you've proven the fact that you've been here a long time and you care about people doing a good job, then I'm going to assure you that they're going to be feeling a whole lot better about paying you more money. So these are really, really important to consider doing. So you can see we're talking here just plain, simple, not rocket science things to do. We don't have to get all tied up in these complicated business broker valuation forms and months and months of crunching numbers to get your business in a position to sell. Getting in position to sell, and even if it grows to that big point where those other valuations are needed, what you're doing right here will help it get there faster and better. So now let's analyze those financial statements and see if we can see the trends in revenues, expenses, and profitability. A buyer is going to want to see how the business is trending. And if things are trending up, if things are looking up, and year after year you've done well, then they're going to think, okay, you're doing things in a positive way, and you're selling me something that's moving forward. But if they see these trends going down, 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 it's going to look like a sinking ship. And they will understand why you're wanting to sell it, and they will probably say to themselves, well, I'm going to use that as a negotiating tool and ask for smaller numbers to see if I can buy it for a lesser price. How about that? Well, you know, after COVID, pretty much lots and lots, and a few exceptions, but most small businesses had a downward trend. There were some exceptions with some businesses, but some of them had a trend that looked awful, and they couldn't find someone to buy their business if they wanted to. But there are times that if you're buying, I want you to listen to me, that if you're buying, someone may be having a downward trend because of personal issues, health, or some market conditions. Maybe they just hadn't been willing to get involved in the internet, or maybe they're not marketing what they got doing. I'll say to you right now, just because a company is had a downward trend doesn't mean you should totally ignore them. because you may find a gem. You may find some real value in what the companies have on these other aspects, with the quality of products, with reputation they've earned, maybe their location. And if new management came in and did things better and newer in a better way, there could be a real good chance that you could take this company that's got a downward trend and with your leadership and expertise, bump it up, jumpstart it. So I always mention that sometimes the very best deals are those that don't look so hot to begin with. So you just don't close the door. But you don't pay thousands of dollars to hire a broker to come in and muddy the water up so you don't have a chance to get there, because the broker is not going to pay attention very much to a downward trend small business. They're just going to say this isn't sellable. This isn't a doable thing. Know that buyers are going to do a lot of research. They're not going to rely on the brokers to do it. We're going to look at market conditions. We want to think about the broader situation. We're not going to focus on just this one community, but see how this business might serve other communities or the region. Think about what risks are involved. In other words, open our eyes to things more than just what is the value of the assets. The real value for a small company moving forward is not about what the book value of it is or what its profit was last month. Look at the bigger picture. Take the time to study it. We do not need to get in a hurry here. We do not need to get in a hurry. And if a seller is really pushing for a rush, there's a reason for that. And you want to know what it is, an honest reason for it, and you're not going to be satisfied till you get it. And here's a little footnote. Sometimes the sellers or the brokers representing them will paint you a picture, and it's a great looking picture. But you want to bring someone in to give you advice that will pick it apart. Maybe go visit the business, maybe look at it from an informed point of view and ask the hard questions, or check out talking with some of the employees. The inside information will have a lot to do with the final result. And if you don't do that, if you don't do your due diligence to get down to what is really the nitty gritty here, what's going on, why are they selling it, why is this priced at that thing, who are the customers, are there some lawsuits involved, what's going on here? You want that information. It'll be very, very important to you. Comps. You may have heard someone use the term comps before when you were talking about a real estate deal. That is, every real estate that's on the market today, they're going to tell you what my house is worth and what the house next door and other comps, comparable items for sale. The same thing happens in the world of business and small businesses as well. And comps will be something that you will check out. This is one of the services that the professional brokers like to say to you. They have networks to generate comps. The great news I've got for you now, because of AI and internet marketing, there's lots of firms out here, lots of websites that do a really good job of giving you almost instant information on what the comps are or selling nationwide or region-wise of businesses kind of like yours. So this information used to be kind of really hard to get, but now is instantly available to you and usually at no charge. And I'll be glad to give you some links to help you with that, the comp values of businesses. Now, the evaluation methods can get real complicated, and I've sent you that information because I don't want us to get complicated in this class. We're talking about positioning ourselves early on to be able to sell our businesses later on. So we don't need to start doing expensive, long-term, sophisticated evaluations that brokers might use. Right now, we're going to use the evaluation data that I've asked you to put together. But I want you to know the evaluation method so you'll be familiar with it, because maybe after you read those emails and you see the different ways they're put together, I've almost always used some piece of this type and a little bit of that type and put together several types of valuation strategies into the package that I needed for a particular deal. And it's worked out real well. So that every small business will be evaluated differently, and no small business is structurally made to fit into the block or the circle of a certain type of evaluation method. Just say that up front. So that's why it's valuable to you to at least read the emails that I sent to you, go through the test, get a feel for what's going on there. It will enhance your knowledge about how these things work. So the different types of evaluation methods, the three that are most common, and they're mentioned in the emails, are asset-based, revenue-based, and market-based. This is where we're going to come up with how we feel about the values of the business. Asset-based is mainly used in real estate and manufacturing. Revenue-based is mainly used for service industries, and market-based is used for a lot of different ways in selling businesses, especially using the comps. So those are the three main things. But we're going to basically, the most important method depends on what you're trying to achieve, and a combination of these methods sometimes works out very good. I haven't been able to sell any of my business sales through the years with just one basis. Matter of fact, it was very helpful to use some aspects of these three valuation bases to put together a plan that works, when it works. So when you begin calculating, choose the methods that you need to go with, do the best you can, research them down, put it down, and let me tell you, your evaluation plan is going to be like your business plan. It's one that you write, and then you rewrite, and you rewrite, and you rewrite, because almost every time you go back to it, you will have learned another piece of information or a reason to make some adjustments. It's a constant changing proposition, your business, small business evaluation. So you just need to know that and be ready to review it almost every time. So where are the values? Where are the values? I want to talk about that. And let me ask you, we have some new folks with us tonight and some folks that I don't see the email addresses on the screen. Let me ask you to make sure that you go over to the chat board and sign in with your name, with your city, and your email address. And it looks like most of you have got your email addresses on there, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But do use that chat board. This is also a place that while you're typing in chat, share with the other classmates that we have here the nature of your business, the name of your business, and the nature of it. What are you doing? Let us all start learning more about you. And while I'm interrupting the presentation, I also want y'all to email me with your Facebook links, tell me more about your business, and what is the next level that you want to get to that I might be able to help you with. Where will you find values when you're talking about your business? So see the study guide for sample listing sheets. I've given you an example listing sheet that you can take and you can just print it out and start listing the values of your own business. Hard assets, number one, we're talking about. Your real estate, list it down, location, and the tax value of it. You put that on your sheet. Vehicles, trailers at fair market value, not necessarily book value, but at fair market value. List all the items that's on your depreciation sheet. This will be very easy to do, and as you're making that list, put book value, right beside it, put fair market value. Other tangible assets that are listed on there will be your tools and equipment, furniture and fixtures, signs that you have at the property or other places, security systems and fencing, any work that you have in progress, contracts that are in progress. And if you have items that you're leasing to other people, either short-term or long-term, you own them, but you're leasing to other people, you'll list those down. So when everything comes in. And then goodwill now. Let's talk about the intangible. That is, talk about your cash flow and your history. It has some facts that during certain seasons, your cash flow is this, your inventory turns are a certain amount. So talk about what's happening, what's happening in the business, how is it working? Talk about if you're a player in the market, what percentage of the market are you getting now? Maybe you're the big kahuna and getting a lion's share of the market. Well, you want to tell a potential buyer that. You don't want to take a chance that they find it out on their own. You have to blow your own horn. You have to be proud of you doing that. If you've got an established business location that is considered a good place to do business, it's in a good neighborhood, people have been coming here for years, and traffic flow is good on the highway, think about that and write it down. Talk about your customer base. How many customers continually do business with you? How many years? How many generations? It's important that you talk about generational business here. Same way with your employees. What's the average length of time employees have been with you? How much expertise do they have? You spell all that out. And then you talk about a record of accounts receivable. What is your average monthly accounts receivable? How much are you carrying on the books? What percentage are current? What percentage are 90 days old? What percentage are non-collectible? How many are in legal? So this is a big deal for a lot of different things. At one point in time, when I sold one of my businesses, my accounts receivable were averaging on each month around $200,000, which in in the late 90s, that was a lot of money for a small company to have on the books every month. But I was in the rental business. I owned over 200 rental forklifts. They were out on rent, so therefore we were billing those out every month. So all those rental bills showed up on the accounts receivable. And that's enough to scare somebody to death that's thinking about buying a small business. And Lord have mercy, look how much of their business are financing. So right under that, we had to say, or we had in our financial records, and showed them a footnote that see our depreciation sheet, because we had 200 forklifts out there that were worth millions of dollars that offset that. It was a very positive thing because the depreciation was a huge tax advantage, and therefore it offset that carrying that debt load for the customers. Having someone help you look at your books that understands those kind of things can make a big, big difference in having the presentation be attractive to a potential buyer. Some folks will tell you that goodwill, no, that's just blue sky. It's just smoke and mirrors, not worth anything to you. That's crap. Goodwill is real, but it has to be presented in such a way that makes it real to the potential buyer. And you have to know that it's real, because a company may have a downward trend in their economics because of short-term economic factors, but they may have many generations and decades of goodwill they build up that they're maintaining, and that in itself may offset the downward turn value to help you look at it. So find a certified appraiser that has a discipline for your type of business and for your type of assets. Certified appraisers aren't necessarily business brokers. They're just here to help you put some values on it. I'm a certified appraiser, and there's others out there that do that. We're going to charge you by the hour, and we'll tell you right up front what it's going to cost. And it's not going to be the largest percentage of the values. It's just going to be, you're going to pay for the service and the hours, and you're going to get a certified appraisal sheet. That certified appraisal sheet may be a very valuable tool to make a part of your selling proposition to show to the buyers. Why certified? Because certified is going to be real interested in making sure we document why we're giving you the numbers they are. I'm going to give you the comps and give you the pluses and the lows so that you'll know. Having a website and an internet presence is a real important factor in today's world, as you can imagine. So if you're planning on buying and selling companies, what is the internet presence that you have? And are you improving that? Or are you making it attractive? Can you take your presence and show it to a potential buyer and make it an asset, a reason they want to get on board? Sometimes this takes several years of work to bring your website and your internet presence up. So what's a good day to start improving your position? Tomorrow. That's why we're here tonight, so that I could say that. Things like mailing lists, prepaid advertising you're doing, your telephone and fax numbers, the company name, your vehicles that have good signage on them and special equipment, all the tools and equipment that you have, the values of that, parts that you have in stock, your inventory pricing, how well is that moving over? How about a good group of service records that a new buyer might be able to take and use those records to promote future business? And how much cash do you have on hand? $20,000, $3 million, whatever it is. Just come up with an average that you're maintaining, and then you might want to say that reserve accounts that you're maintaining in the company name. These are going to be important factors for any potential buyer that's looking at your company. The hidden owner perks. So let's talk about this. Important. Sometimes assets are just not seen because owners of companies are using the power and the influence they have in their company to create owner perks. And sometimes these perks do not show up on the financial records in the financial statements for a various number of reasons. But in a reality check, oftentimes the founder of a company is taking good advantages of being the owner and is receiving benefits from what I would call non-tax dollars coming in personal. So if the owner is taking advantage of different things and it may not show up on the asset sheet, then they need to be listed down in a confidential way so that you can share that information with a serious potential buyer. Now, none of this information is shared with anyone until they have qualified themselves as being a serious buyer that has the resources to buy the company and has signed a very serious non-disclosure statement. But one of the things that turned the head is, what are the owner perks? If I buy this company, what are some advantages I'm going to have because I'm the owner? And it may be things like the use of a vehicle. And I did this slide 15 years ago or more. And back then, the use of a vehicle was worth about $20,000 a year. Now it might be worth $70,000 a year. Fuel, tires, and insurance, another $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Life insurance and disability insurance payments being paid by the company, $16,000 to $30,000. Health insurance for the family may be being paid by the company. Big bucks. Out-of-town travel, trips, dinners out, golf, tennis, riding club memberships, the boat, the golf cart, the ATVs, uniforms and clothing allowances, holidays, vacation trips, taking trips that you've won, contest trips that you won with sales, long weekends away. These perks can add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. You don't need to put that in writing out in the public sphere, but this list needs to be done with estimates on it, and just call them perk value, and it's shared as a closing tool, as such as that, not to be used against you later on down the road. But a potential buyer needs to know what the perks are. And the nice thing about founder-owned businesses, there's always some perks involved that can encourage someone else to say, hey, kind of like that. Yeah, I'm working my butt off, but I'm getting some mighty fine perks for me and my family. That needs to be listed down. You need to have a written down list to help you do it. I've got a great piece of news for you, a super secret weapon. And that is, in today's world, there are several companies that help you evaluate your business and help you actually come up with a proposed selling price just by doing a little bit of information. And what I've asked you to put together heretofore in this presentation, you can go to a website like Flippa, right here, FLIPPA.com. They will indeed give you the opportunity to share information with them, and they will give you the comps. They'll give you a good estimate, evaluation of your company. They'll ask some more questions than I've asked, but it's a free thing they're doing. They want to become your broker. They want to sell your business for you and put it out on the market to put it on the internet nationwide and find buyers that are interested. There may not be anyone in your town or in your county that has an interest in your business. But any business that has an established customer base doing a decent job money-wise, whatever it is, I will assure you that somewhere in America, there's someone else that has a similar company that would like to maybe add on, grow from it, move to another location, set up a branch. Never say that my business, there's no one interested in buying my business, because there is someone interested in buying it. Now, whether you find common ground money-wise or not, that's yet to be seen. But I'm going to tell you that folks will become interested in small businesses, and Flippa website is a good place to get information to help you. They gave me good information. I was quoting my company, and I had the values. I wasn't sure whether I should up those antes or not, but Flippa came back to me in less than 2 days and gave me the range that I should be selling my company for, and we were spot on with it, and that helped me make a decision to go ahead and move forward with confidence. So I'm glad to share this with you. You don't have to spend any money with them, but they will still try to help you come up with an evaluation, maybe give you some ideas. So it's flippa.com, free evaluations for fair market value of your company. They'll give you negotiating tips with sellers and buyers, and they work nationwide, so maybe somebody way out there in another state might be the person that's here. So let's talk real serious now about the third-party agents. That might be advisors, appraisers, consultants, brokers, attorneys, and accountants. They all come in different names, shapes, and sizes. And basically what I like to say, someone needs to kiss the frogs. The potential buyers, I'll call them the frogs. And we don't want a frog, we want a prince. So someone has to kiss the frogs to see who qualifies and not. Third-party agents, some of them are in it for the big bucks, and those big bucks usually come from the seller's pocket. And oftentimes, by the time the broker gets his cut of the pie, and the attorney and the other folks gets their cut of the pie, there's very little left for the fellow that put all the work in to starting that business. So I will advise you to talk with someone, a consultant that will help you get the best deal that you can, end up with the most money you can, and give you some do's and don'ts about doing business with folks that are going to charge you percentages to help you move your business. So right now, I suggest to you do your do-it-yourself appraisal. I sent you a sample study guide to help you start putting that together in your business, to help you go for it. Please read it. Be aware of what it's going to take, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what tomorrow holds. So how do buyers value your business? Because it's a search. It's a search between the financial performance against the operational risk. Yeah. Notice this. It's not about the dollars and cents of the book value, but it's about how you're performing against the operational risk. It's the real human nature, the energy, the business energy and factors that have more to do with whether a buyer or not buys a small business from a founder. So that's why we really care about staying in touch with our customers. We really care about our Raving Fan customers. We really care about our website and how it's presented. We really care about our testimonials. They have as much, if not more, to do than the value of assets on the books. What drives the evaluations? The quality of your financial records, and the quality means how well can you explain them, how well can you match up one line item on the evaluation sheet to your financial statement, and then to your budget, and then to your business plan. If all these things are matched up and you can easily show someone what it's all about, how one affects the other, that's cool. That's what you want. And you want regular, normalized foundations. If you're doing some tricky stuff with your finances, you need to clean that up. If you're loaning money to your company, that's fine. Just show it as a business loan and put it on the books and show that the company's paying you back, or they're owing you, and how much interest they're paying you. That might be a perk for someone to look at. If a potential buyer finds out you're trying to hide stuff or misrepresent stuff, That's not good. The buyers want to see diversity in your customers. The buyers want to see diversity in your profit centers. So you want to be able to prove to them that you have got diversity. You're just not saying sales on your financial sheet or on your bookkeeping sheet. You're saying sales, but under that, you're going to list down the different profit centers where you're making sales and put some dollar values out there. That impresses people. That gives them a better understanding of what you're doing. And what does it do for you? It lets you take a real close look each month on what's doing best for you and why you might be able to improve and where you might be able to add some profit centers to really jack your revenues up. A real fact here, and I said it last week, so we need to say it again. I want you to remember, most experts that study business sales by founders, they will tell you that a business that's run by a competent management team commands a lot more higher valuation premium than one that's run by a single-handed founder. So what does that mean to all of us, me included, single business founders? It means that if we hope to be able to sell our business one day, have a transition out of it, we need to have a team that's working with us. We need to have a group of employees or a group of advisors that understand what's going on in the business, so that the bottom line is me or you does not have to be there for the business to be profitable. That's our ultimate goal through the years. So think right now about how you can start making that happen. There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of good things happening. Go to AI and ask them the questions, but the bottom line is, to sell your business later on, you're going to have to explain to a new buyer how this business can make money even if you're not there. Okay, that's the goal. Sooner than later, get serious about this. Don't say this is something I can procrastinate with because I'm not dying right now or nobody's knocking on the door wanting to buy my business or my business is so young it's not have any value. Don't go there with your thinking. The right kind of thinking is, hey, this is great. I'm going to start right now putting footnotes down, and as I build my business and as I do my financials, I don't figure out ways to make this happen. I don't figure out ways that I am building an asset and not just a job. Okay? So next Tuesday, we're going to talk about exit strategies. When should you plan to close or sell your small business? What are the timeline targets that we're going to be looking at to talk about when do these exit strategies go to work? And more, of course, we'll always have some more. So let me share with you. There's a greatness in you. There's a greatness in your potential business. You can do incredible things. Let's work together to bring your vision to life. And remember that alone we can't do but so much, but together, man, we can do a lot. So thank you for tonight. God bless you and your family and your business. And tomorrow I'll send to you the study guides and the answers to the questions that I sent to you earlier. Send me your emails. Let me know how we can help you go further and stay with us. We're joining our classes on Monday and Tuesday night. So let me say to you, what do you think about this lesson tonight? Any questions about it or comments? Open up your mics and let's talk.
Hi, Steve. This is Chifa. This lesson was excellent. You always give us to think about that we hadn't been privy to. And so thank you. I'm always in grateful receive mode when I'm in your classes.
Thank you, Chisa. And let me say I've been enjoying your photos from the trips you've been taking that you've been posting on Facebook.
Oh, thank you. Everybody deserves a vacation.
You've been a busy lady. Keep up the good work. Okay, who else has got a comment for us?
Hey, Steve, it was a great class. This is Sarita.
Sarita, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being with us tonight, as always. And I hope that some of this can help you. You indeed have got a established business going on, so give this some serious thought on how you can take advantage of what we're talking about tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Johnson, I imagine you and your business, from what I already learned about your family and the young people working with you, you're building a good team for the future. Is that correct?
Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Yes, realize the value of training the young people, and I definitely realize the value that you cannot have a successful business run by just one person that's going to have a stroke or going to have a heart attack or going to be going on vacation. It's just a terrible business philosophy. Some business is one person business, and that is what it is. But if you're going to have a multiple people business, you need multiple people involved in the whole enchilada.
That makes sense. I understand. Well, we all need to keep this on our mind. We don't know what tomorrow holds for any of us, do we?
No.
Okay, well, great. We'll keep up that good granddaddy work. I'm proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Any other comments?
Well, I'm going to have to confess that I was multitasking between yours and a grant writing that I want to get involved in for helping the town of Warsaw. So probably 50% in it tonight.
I understand. Well, we all do that from time to time. Very good. Well, Sherry and Eric and KS, Brian and Edna, Nisha, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Rest of the week, stay cool, and look forward to seeing you next Monday and Tuesday night. Good night. God bless you all.
Good night.
Yes.
I need to come and see you and Dunn.
I'm looking forward to it.
Shoot me an email to do the retail business. I got some really crazy stuff I got to shoot past you.
Fantastic. I'll check it out and get back to you.
A minute at the very end, but I just thought about it, so.
That's all right. That's good.
Talk to you.
All right.
See you guys.
All right. Y'all take care.